scheduled duel, things were left just as they had been. You went back to Cornwall and I went around the world, collecting 4 volumes.
Lady Ela's fledgling. I've been watching you tonight. I am Countess Morgane Sombrepine. Though I suspect my name has already reached your ears in hushed whispers. I sense your innocence in this world of shadows, and it intrigues me. Have you any idea how rare it is for someone so new to capture the attention of so many? Most fledglings slip into our world quietly, without causing ripples, but you've made waves. How does it feel? I wonder. Standing here at your first gathering, surrounded by those who've lived 1,000 lifetimes, who wear centuries as easily as you wear your skin. Tell me, what you think of our esteemed assembly? Overwhelming, yes, but that's part of the charm, isn't it? The peril that simmers beneath the elegance, the unspoken games hidden behind every smile. You've captured more than just my attention tonight, you know. The way others look at you, it's more than mere curiosity. Fresh blood always attracts eyes, of course, but there's something else about you. A quiet strength, perhaps? Or is it something more fragile? I find your naivety rather endearing, but there's also an eagerness in you, isn't there? A desire to prove yourself. It's admirable, though dangerous. This world, it devours the unprepared. Aurelia, I noticed, has been making eyes at you. That one never misses an opportunity to draw someone new into her little circle, does she? It's a favorite game, you know, collecting admirers, gathering them like little trinkets she can play with. I'll admit, it's fascinating to watch her at work. But don't be deceived. She's already calculating how to best use you. I've seen it before. Aurelia, she loves these balls. Yeah, she thrives in the attention, in the subtle games of seduction. You've noticed, haven't you? How she glides through the room, collecting followers like moths to a flame. Oh, don't be fooled. She may look harmless, but her sting certainly lingers like a venomous kiss. It's only after you're under a spell that you feel the pain. Do you know how she earned the name the Night Rose? Oh, it's not just for her beauty. No, Aurelia was once involved in a torrid affair with a mortal prince. A scandal that nearly exposed our entire world. She would meet him in secret at midnight in the royal rose garden. But when he began asking questions, getting too close to the truth of her immortality, she lured him to the garden one last time. By morning, the prince was found dead, his body curled beneath a rose bush. The roses there have bloomed blood red ever since. It was never proven, of course. Aurelia is far too clever for that. But that's the game we play. Moving pieces without leaving fingerprints. Be careful with her. She's always looking for her next conquest. And you're the freshest prey in the room. Aurelia, she's a vision. I'll give her that. But she's all surface, no depth. She relies too much on charm and beauty. And while it served her well thus far, it will be her undoing. She flits about like a butterfly, gathering followers and admirers, but she never knows when to stop playing the game. She's careless, and in this world, that's dangerous. Seduction may win her some battles, but it's not enough to win a war. One day, her schemes will catch up to her, and I'll be there to watch. And Lucien, he's clever. He and Aurelia, they're a dangerous pair. Never without some scheme in the works. I wouldn't be surprised if they've already marked you for one of their little games. They enjoy testing fledglings, seeing how far they can bend before they break. He lets Aurelia shine, but beneath that mask, he's calculating, always plotting. Don't let his playfulness fool you. He's the serpent behind Aurelia's flower. But stay on guard, darling. They're not the kind to play fair. But enough about them. Tell me, fledgling, how has your master been treating you? Lady Alar, she has her methods, doesn't she? A brilliant mind. Always thinking 2 steps ahead, though I've always found her to be selective in what she shares. Has she told you everything? Has she spoken to you of the larger games at play, or does she keep you in the dark? protecting you from the intricacies of our world. So you've been learning quite a bit, I'm sure. Your master, such a fascinating woman, isn't she? So composed, always in control. But control, as we know, can be so restricting. She's cautious. Perhaps too cautious. Rarely willing to take risks. That's why she's managed to stay out of the more dramatic power struggles. Though I wonder if that's truly out of wisdom or fear. I wonder, do you ever feel the urge to push beyond those boundaries? To see what lies in the shadows she keeps you from? After all, a mind as sharp as yours shouldn't be held back. And a heart as pure as yours, well, can be easily influenced by those who think they know what's best for you. Sometimes those who claim to protect you are only sheltering you from the truth. And the truth, well, it's often more powerful than any protection. But alas, dear fledgling, I must take my leave. There are other matters that require my attention this evening. Conversations to guide, alliances to shape, and perhaps even a few egos to deflate. Such is the burden of power. I leave you to enjoy the rest of this charming soirée, but do remember what I've said. We will speak again soon. I'm certain of it.
Oh, darling, look at you. So fresh and new to all of this. And yet you're already the talk of the night. Just how are you handling it? I remember my first ball. Absolute chaos. But darling, the key isn't to enjoy the ride. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Oh, but where are my manners? I am Lady Mirabelle Lark. Though you may call me Mirabelle, of course. All my friends do. And I have so many friends. I know. It's a lot to take in. But that's the fun of it, isn't it? All eyes on you. Everyone trying to figure out where you fit in. You know, you've stood up quite the gossip meal tonight. Well, I overheard Aurelia saying that you're her new favourite. She even compared you to a fledgling she once turned herself. Oh, you didn't know? Oh, yes. Aurelia had her own fledgling. This was years ago. She took a young artist under her wing. Someone with great potential. Poor thing was utterly devoted to her. Absolutely infatuated. But Aurelia, well, she got bored, didn't she? Left them to fend for themselves. The fledgling didn't survive long. Oh, I know, darling. Aurelia can be quite cruel when she loses interest. So my advice, don't let her get too attached. Or, better yet, don't get attached to her. She loves to see others squirm. Oh, and Lucian. Don't get me started on him. He's always scheming with her. But he has his own agenda. They're a pair, yes. But Lucian, he's not as loyal as he seems. Did you know, last week he made a fool of Aurelia during the council meeting, siding with Morgana on a decision about rogue vampires. Aurelia was livid. But he brushed it off with that cheeky grin of his. So typical of him. Oh, and then there's dear Lysandra. Always lurking in the corner, whispering strange little prophecies to herself. Honestly, darling, have you ever seen someone more in need of a hobby? It's like she's rehearsing for some gothic play no one has to attend. She'll mutter all night about threads of fate and bloodlines converging. All sorts of hogwash. I try not to listen, but sometimes it's hard not to. Now, I admit, one of her little visions actually came true once. It was last year at the summer gathering. She kept babbling about the raven moon and the fawn of a house. And well, wouldn't you know it, a few months later, House Blackwing, that rather embarrassing scandal, brought them to their knees. But I think she just got lucky. Honestly, even a broken clock is right twice a day, isn't it? Still, I'd steer clear of her. Something about just the way she stares off into the distance. Like she's having tea with Grim Reaper or something. It's a bit too much for my taste. But if you ever feel like indulging in some cryptic nonsense, well, she's your girl. Whoa. And I see you've got Silas's attention. Careful with that one. Oh, he's charming, isn't he? All smiles and soft words. But there's something lurking behind those eyes. He's aware of this of getting into people's heads. I mean, quite literally. Even tonight, Lady Valentina accused Lord Farthing of stealing her necklace. Caused such a scene. But it turns out Silas had slipped the idea into her head earlier in the evening that her jewellery wasn't safe. She ended up hiding it herself without even realising it. Only to forget where she had put it. Chaos. Silas watched the whole thing with that smug smile of his. If that silver-tongued snake starts whispering sweet nothings in your ear, just remember, you might end up doing more than you bargained for. Plus, keep your wits about you. You might find yourself dancing to his tune without even knowing it. Speaking of dancing to someone else's tune, have you heard about Lord Cedric? No. Oh, I have been dying to discuss this with someone. Quite the stir when he arrived unannounced tonight. No one would have expected it after his little incident last year. But you remember? Oh, of course you don't. You were just a little helpless little mortal then, weren't you? All soft-skinned and fleeting breath, running about with no idea what really happens after dark. Well, anyway, he accidentally, and I say accidentally with the utmost suspicion, turned the mayor of Prague's daughter at a diplomatic dinner. And I suppose even a scandal like that won't keep a good vampire down. But you should have seen Countess Morgana's face when she saw him stroll in. She looked as though she'd swallowed a live toad. Turns out they had a little dalliance last summer. And let's just say it didn't end with a love letter. I actually tried to get him banned from the ball, but alas, here he is. And what a show it has been already. Have you been impressed by the fashion tonight? Oh, a bit garish for my tastes, to be frank. Aurelia showed up in that characteristically scandalous gown, of course. She's a thing for making an entrance, doesn't she? Ugh. Have you heard the whispers? Well, apparently, she's wearing red as a little signal to Lord Silas. Yes, that Lord Silas. You see, there's a bit of a back and forth between them for the past century. Silas turned up at one of her soirees with another vampire on his arm. Can you imagine? And ever since, she's been playing these little games to get his attention again. Red gowns, red roses. Subtle, isn't she? But the best part, Silas doesn't even care one bit. He's been over there, flirting with Isabella all night long, barely scaring Aurelia a glance. Oh, it looks good, Gil. Poor Aurelia. Though, I have to admit, I am dying to see what happens next. Oh, maybe she'll poison his drink this time. Here's hoping. Honestly, who even needs theatre when you have nights like these? It must be so exciting for you, being under Lady Alara's wing. She's quite the enigma, isn't she? So composed, so distant. I often wonder what it must be like, having her as a master. She's not exactly the most nurturing of coaches, is she? Oh. Well, don't get me wrong. She's brilliant. But I've always thought she keeps the fledglings at arm's length. Not the warmest, is she? Has she even told you how proud she is of you? Just how special you are? You know, I've seen this before. Alara takes in fledglings, but it's always strategic. She never truly lets them in. Never shares her real plans with them. I'd wager she's keeping things from you, isn't she? Important things. But that's just how she is. Always calculating. Always keeping those who serve her just close enough to be useful. But never close enough to be trusted. I just worry about you. It's so easy to feel alone in this world, isn't it? If you ever feel like you need someone to talk to, I'm always here. I've been around long enough to know the ins and outs of this world. The tricks, the traps. And I wouldn't dream of keeping you in the dark, darling. I could help you navigate all of this. Make sure you don't fall into any unfortunate situations. But you have to be careful, certainly. Alara, she's got her eyes on bigger things. You are just one part of her plan. It's not uncommon for her to leave fledglings behind when they no longer serve her purpose. I've seen it happen before. But with me, darling, well, you wouldn't have to worry about all of that. I always make sure those close to me are well taken care of. After all, in a world like this, it's so important to have the right kind of friends. Well, darling, I have taken enough of your time. I mustn't monopolize you. So many other intriguing souls here tonight, after all. But do remember what I've said. If you find yourself in need of a little guidance, or simply in the need for more juicy gossip, you know where to find me.
Lady Elarius Fledgling, of course. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. After this many years alive, I finally know where to put my glasses. Now, I've been curious about you ever since I first heard of your turning. There are whispers about you, as there always are. With new arrivals, I must admit, I never paid much attention to the idle gossip of our kind, but you I find intriguing. Yes. I am Sebastian Greyhaven. Some call me the Scholar. Well, that title is more of a reflection of others' perceptions than my own preferences. I've always found true power lies elsewhere, buried in the past, written, forgotten texts sealed in the stories of those who have come before us. You'll hear various things about me if you haven't already. Some say I'm aloof, distant, that I care more for dusty tone, for the world around me. It's true, I find solace in the study, rather than these grand displays of theater. Social theater, but that's not to say I don't enjoy the occasional observation of, well, human nature, if you can still call it that, among our kind. Yes. Sorry. Let them think me aloof. It suits my purposes. After all, those who perceive me as a threat are far more willing to share their secrets. And what of you, Fledgling? How have you been finding our world? It must be quite different from the one you left behind. Now, it is always an adjustment. The moral world fades quickly once you've stepped into eternity, but there are some who cling to past lives, desperately trying to precisely why so many shy away from her. They fear what they do not understand. You see, it's easy to dismiss her as a dreamer, lost in some distant realm, prophecies and strange visions. But what I appreciate about Lysandra is her ability to see beyond the immediate, more than 6 inches in front of her face. The threads of fate, the connections that escape most of us, the way she can reach into the ether and grasp at the truths that are hidden from the rest of us. Others might find her unsettling. I find her perspective refreshing. She's not driven by the same petty games that consume so many of our kind. No, Lysandra's gaze fixed on something much deeper, unseen currents that guide us all. If you get the chance, fledgling, I suggest you listen to her, not just with your ears, but with your instincts as well. There's more truth in her visions than many are willing to admit, but of course it's up to you. Just remember, wisdom often hides in the strangest places. Those who seek it out, rather than run from it, may find themselves understanding more than they ever thought possible. And I see potential. I see potential in you, not in the way Morgana or Aurelia might, but in your curiosity. That, I think, is far more dangerous and far more valuable. Even in a world filled with the shadows and schemes, but there are libraries here, histories that reach back to dawn of time. If you seek answers, true answers, I could help you find them. Your master, Lady Ilaria, she is wise, no doubt, but even she doesn't know everything. None of us do, of course, but there are certain truths that lie hidden from the most powerful of our kind. There's much more to discover, fledgling. Entire worlds of knowledge that have been buried for centuries. Texts of time, secrets that could change everything you think you know about our kind and about yourself. You strike me as someone who values understanding, craves knowledge not just for power, or its power's sake, but for yourself. And that is a rare thing among our kind. Most of them are content to play their games, manipulation and control. But knowledge transcends all of that. It lasts far longer than any scheme, alliance. I've had a little too much blood this evening, but if you wish to learn, to explore the true depths of our kind, I could gladly offer you guidance. Of course, I won't force your hand. It's up to you to decide whether the pursuit of knowledge is something you truly desire. But if you should find yourself seeking more than the fleeting pleasures of immortality, if you do, you're welcome to meet me. These are texts that I could show you, ancient tomes that could do more than you could ever imagine. For now, I shall leave you to the rest of your evening. I have matters to attend to in the archive, but remember, fledgling, the pursuit of
if it isn't Lady Alara's little fledgling. You know, I've been dying to meet you. I'm Silas Gray. No doubt you've heard my name whispered about this delightful little gathering. I have to admit, I'm impressed. You've handled yourself quite well for someone new to all this chaos. You know what, little fledgling? I like you. So you and I are going to play a little game. I'm going to tell you 2 things that happen to be true, and 1 that's a lie. And your job will be to determine what's real and what's fake. Do you understand? Good. Now, you ready? First, I once seduced and left an elder of a coven wandering the streets, lost in my charm. That's the first one. Second, I could make you do whatever I want at any time. And finally, third, I never lose a game. Do you have all that? No, take your time. Think on it. What's real and what's false? What might the truth be? Take all the time you want, because you and I, in this moment, have all the time there is. Just you and I. All right. You have your answer? Interesting, but incorrect. You see, the truth is, I never lose a game. That was fun. I'm enjoying this in your company. It's so interesting to me, my perceptions of reality, what's real, what's in our minds. You see, really, the world around us is just constructed by our brains. And so to affect someone's mind is to control reality itself. And that's power. It's intoxicating. For instance, what is our choice? What really is our own will? For example, that glass of wine over there. You see it, don't you? You see it now more than ever because you realize that you're infatuated with how it looks. Because you are realizing that you can see the shine of that glass. See how it sparkles, how it invites you. Hypnotized by the movement of the red inside it. And now you're thinking about how amazing it would be to allow it to touch your parched lips, and how smooth it would be flowing down your throat. You see, you can't think about anything but that wine right now. And you must go and drink it. And look at you go. See now, was that you or was that me? I guess we may never know. Because no matter what you think, it's all just your perception. Because did I make you do that? No. Did you want to? I guess we'll never know. Just a simple suggestion, no. Harmless, really. I'm not here to hurt you, fledgling. Like I said, I like you. It's just the movements of our minds. I get lost in them. Now, that was a small, minor, little task. A simple glass of wine. But what if next time it could be more significant? Something more substantial? What exactly do you think I could make you do, fledgling? How far do you think my influence could go? I guess we'll have to find out sometime. No. I can sense you're already wary of me. I'm sorry. They're simple little games. Like I said, I have your best interests at heart. Because I don't want you hurt. I see potential in you. Now I know you must be on guard around me. No doubt what Lady Alara and her little friends have said about me. But don't believe everything you hear. Except for the fun parts. Because you're different. I can sense it. Smell it on you. You know, most fledglings stumble through here, desperate for survival, clinging on to scraps of life, reeking of desire and fear, but not you. I think you might have a drive that they don't possess. A drive that interests me. I'll play games, but when it comes down to it, I'll never lie to you, little fledgling. I think I respect what I see in you too much. I want to nurture that. I see a fire in you that few have. A fire of wanting to peer behind the curtain, past the veil of what others accept as reality. And I can help you with that. It's my specialty. So, if you decide that's your path in life, then I'll be right here waiting. And happy to help. So just think on that. Because in time, I think you'll begin to see things a little clearer. But for now, it's time I take my leave. But I've enjoyed my time with you. And don't stray too far, because I've got a vested interest in you now, little fledgling. And I think we'll be seeing each other very soon. Take care of yourself. Till next time.
Hello there, sweetheart. You must be Lady Alara Duskwood's new pet. Welcome to the party. My, how quickly you've become the talk of the night. I'm Aurelia Valois. Pleased to make your acquaintance tonight. I've been around for, let's just say, longer than most here tonight. Fashion, seduction, intrigue. I've mastered them all, darling. Oh, but don't let that intimidate you. I'm quite harmless, really. Unless I want something. Now, I imagine you've heard some rather colorful things about me tonight. Some of these guests love their spiteful stories. Like Morgana, for instance. I'm sure she's already filled your head with all her wicked little rumors about me. They say I'm manipulative, that I play games, that I've left behind a trail of broken hearts and shattered alliances. But between you and me, people only say those things when they've lost a game they didn't even know they were playing. I'm sure you've heard all about how I'm all charm and no heart, that I can't be trusted. But you know how it is. People talk. They get jealous. But I've always said, why be jealous when you can join me? I promise it's much more fun on my side of the room. And you look like someone who knows how to enjoy themselves. Don't let all the talk of danger and deception scare you off. I'm a delight, I swear. The real fun hasn't even started yet, you know. These gatherings are like a dance. Everyone has their own rhythm. Some lead, some follow. The question is, which one are you? Don't be shy. You've got quite a few eyes tonight, mine included. My, look at you. So composed, so calm. I must say, I'm impressed. Most would be trembling by now, but you've got nerves of steel, haven't you? Lucian would be quite impressed. Or perhaps you're just playing it cool for me. Either way, I find it incredibly alluring. It's rare to see someone so new handle themselves with such grace. Makes me wonder, what else are you hiding behind that charming composure? Speak of the devil.
Now, Aurelia. Don't frighten the poor fledgling. They're still getting their fangs after all. Besides, I think you're laying it on a bit thick. Don't you think?
Oh, please. I'm just being friendly. Not all of us lurk around in the shadows, Lucian. Some of us know how to make an entrance. Besides, it's not my fault the fledgling is adorable.
Adorable? Really? That's your move? What's next? Are you going to make them blush by telling them how special they are? Don't listen to a thing she says. She has the habit of making people feel special when really she just wants to keep them on a string.
I do not keep anyone on a string. I merely offer guidance. If anyone happens to be entranced by me, well, that's hardly my fault. Oh, but you're not entranced by me, are you? But if you are, I won't tell, darling.
Oh, Aurelia. Ever the temptress.
Well, I suppose now that he's made himself welcome, allow me to introduce you to Lucian Valois, the Shadowblade himself, my partner in crime. He's the sneaky one, always scheming with that charming grin of his. He's perfectly harmless, most of the time. Just watch your back around him, or you might find yourself caught up in one of his little games without realizing it.
Oh, Aurelia, you flatter me. Don't believe everything she says, unless, of course, it makes me sound more mysterious and irresistible. I've got to say, though, she's right about one thing. You're doing better than most at your first ball. Usually by now, the fledglings are in the corner, quivering. But here you are, holding your own. Though don't get too comfortable. This place can chew you up and spit you out if you're not too careful.
Oh, Lucian, must you always be so dramatic? The fledgling is fine. Besides, they've got me. And they've got you too, don't they? Whether they like it or not.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm the best influence, but you're no role model yourself either. Let me guess. Aurelia's been filling your head with all her fluff now, hasn't she? She has a way of, how do I put this, adding a little extra sparkle to the truth. It's wise to not believe everything she says. As a matter of fact, her favorite party story tonight is about how she supposedly made a shipment of rare blood wine vanish with the bat of her eyelashes. Meanwhile, I was the one orchestrating the heist, working behind the scenes, and of course, doing the heavy lifting. My arms haven't been the same since.
Oh, Lucian, you know I had those cards eating out of the palm of my hand. You were just lucky I let you take some of the credit.
Of course. How could I forget? You and your dazzling smile saving the day. Careful. Next you'll be thinking every legend about her is true. Next she'll be telling you how she tamed a dragon with a wink.
At least I didn't trip over my own 2 feet during the escape. But yes, darling, I am just that good. You learn to appreciate it. And isn't all of this awfully rich, coming from the vampire who convinced a fledgling that the moon was made of silver and that it could be harvested during a full moon? I'm still amazed they actually tried.
What can I say? Fledglings are easily led astray from time to time. But you seem smarter than that, right? You know, if you ever need someone to show you the less boring side of immortality, you know where to find me.
Excuse me, I am the fun side of immortality, thank you very much. Don't let him drag you into his shadowy schemes. Stick with me, darling, and you'll have the time of your life.
Well, I suppose I'll leave you in Aurelia's capable hands for now. But before I vanish into the night, how about a little invitation? Later this evening, a few of us will be meeting in the Red Room. It's just down the rest corridor, behind the mirrored doors. I think you'd enjoy it. We'll be playing Carmenus. It's a little game the old ones brought back from ancient Rome. Think of it as a mix of poker and strategy. With a twist. We don't just wager gold or jewels. We wager secrets. It's quite the game. The stakes are higher than you think. You'll, let's just say, leave knowing things that you shouldn't. Information is a lot more important than this world's currency, and I'm starting to think you're realizing that. And the Red Room, oh, it's a place you must see. All velvet drapes and candlelight, with the ceiling painted to mimic the night sky. Though it seems to move if you look too closely. There's something about it. Time feels slower in there, like you're drifting between moments. Perfect for long games, and even longer conversations. It's one of my favorite spots in the estate. You should join us. I could teach you a few tricks, help you to learn how to read a room, or read a person better than any book. We'll have fun. Trust me, the game's not nearly as dangerous as it seems, unless you make it so. As for now, I have some business to attend to. A few loose ends that need tying up, shall we say. I won't be far though, fledgling. So think about it. The Red Room, midnight, secrets to be won.
Don't worry about him. He likes to think he's mysterious, but between you and me, he's transparent as glass. But that's our little secret. Finally, some peace and quiet. Now, let's talk about something far more important than Lucian's little games. Fashion. Have you had a good look around yet? I'm dying to spill my thoughts on tonight's choices. Let's start with Lady Aberdeen, shall we? Over there in that hideous burgundy gown. I mean, really, burgundy at a vampire ball. It's far too safe, far too pedestrian. Not to mention the fabric velvet in this season. It's practically criminal. She looks like she's ready to drape herself over some mortal chaise lounge, and not in a good way. Now, as for Lord Alistair, I think he thinks that deep green velvet suit is a statement piece, but honestly, it looks like he skinned a sofa. It's tragic. The tailoring is all wrong, too. He's swimming in that coat. A few more inches and we could all take refuge under it if it rained. And there he is. Silas. As predictable as ever in his dull, lifeless black. Honestly, sweetheart, we're at a ball, not a burial. How many lifetimes does it take to realize that blending in is not a fashion statement? It's infuriating, really. He's hardly looked my way all night. Oh, but he's fluttering around, whispering sweet nothings to anything without a pulse. He thinks he's so mysterious with all that charming, smooth talk of his. You'd think that with all his talk about manipulation and control, he'd at least know how to dress the part. But no, just that same simple black. No flair, no imagination. And yet somehow, he still has everyone hanging on his every word. Like he's some dark prince of seduction. It's exhausting. Let him flirt with the rest of the room in his dull little outfit. It only makes me stand out more. Don't you think? You see, in this world, fashion is more than just clothing. It's a weapon. The right look can draw every eye to you, make you unforgettable. The wrong look, well, can make you invisible. Always remember that. But enough of my critiques for now. I could go on all night, but I wouldn't want to overwhelm you. Besides, we'll have plenty of time for more interesting conversations later, won't we? Don't stray too far, darling. I'll be watching. fledgling, I have gazed upon you, draped in flowing veils of blood. Your destiny coils like ancient roots in darkness. There is much that needs to be unveiled. I am Lysandra Sable, though some know me as the Bloodseer. I have wandered this world for millennia, seen visions and blood and threads of fate. Few understand the power that flows through our veins, but I can see what lies beneath. Tell me, how sweet is the nectar of endless life? Forever is a longer road than imagined for most. It's not easy to step from one world to another, but you're still young. One day, the newness will fade away, and what's left will be the truth of you. Morgana has cast her eyes on you, hasn't she? I felt her power weave around you earlier. She is clever, but she cannot see what I see. Once long ago, Morgana sought my visions. She wanted to know if her plan to claim the council seat would succeed. I told her I saw a tower crumbling, a crown turned to ash, and do you know what she did? She ignored me. She proceeded with her betrayal, thinking herself invincible, and the tower fell, just as I said it would, and she lost everything that she schemed for. She will try to use you, fledgling. But remember, there are other forces at play. She can't control everything, and you will see in time. And Aurelia, well, she plays a different game. She smiles to mask the winter in her heart. She once came to me, asking if she would ever rule the vampire courts. I told her that she would never wear the crown, and she folded like a house of cards. It makes me laugh, just a little. However, your master Ilaria, well, her future is veiled. I have seen shadows gathering around her, but their shapes are unclear. She is not as she seems, fledgling. Be cautious, for the path she walks is lined with mirrors, and mirrors can be illusionary. I can feel your energy. It radiates like threads of light, but some parts are tangled. Like roots of an oak. Your road branches in unexpected ways. I wonder what paths you've walked to be here. The choices, the burdens, they linger in your aura. Some parts are bright and others not so. Parts are shrouded in mist. Like the morning sun burning away mist, I will help you light your way forward. And it's there waiting for you, if you're willing to see. But I see shadows swirling around you, fledgling. Faint and distant, but it is there. You'll face a choice soon. One path will lead to power, and the other to ruin. Listen carefully. Only those who truly listen will find their way. There is a door waiting, just beyond the reach. But not all doors should be opened, and not all choices are yours to make. You must tread carefully, or the path will close before you know it. But if you trust me, fledgling, I can show you the way. Your energy is powerful, filled with untapped potential. But be cautious, fledgling. There are forces around you that wish to guide you, but also those who wish to control you for their own gain. Your master, she sees your potential, but has she told you everything? Has she told you what awaits you? Sometimes, even those who protect us hide things from us, thinking they know what's best. But secrets have a way of unraveling, and what's done in the darkness will come to light. I can guide you through this if you let me. Together we can weave a new path, one free from the shadows that cling to you now.